All right, Angus, I got you on here after we were just introduced from Tiffany Sims, and I'm glad that she introduced us because and you're going to share your story here in a moment, but you help people with relationships, right? Keep them or create them, right? And so I'm excited for you to dive into all of that, how you got into this and how you are able to spark that life into somebody else's life again, right? Or for the first time. So
Yeah.
could you just share, first of all, who you are and dive a little bit deeper into what you actually do?
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. And it was a pleasure with the last time we talked, and I'm looking forward to this conversation a lot. My name's Angus Scott. I'm from the Phoenix, Arizona area. Spent basically most of my life in that area, and I grew up in a wonderful family. Mom and dad still married, still in love, but very not traditional relationship. In fact, there's a running joke in my family that one of the most romantic things that my dad can do is take my mom to the dump on their anniversary. And it's kind of a hilarious story. We don't have to get into all of that right now, but it happened once, one year. Like he does construction, had to stop at the dump on the way to like taking her out for dinner, and then we all gave him such a hard time. And then it happened the next year, and now it's just a standing joke that. But she loves being around my dad. She loves going to job sites with him. She loves just spending time with him, and so that was like my model for what love is, or what it was, or what it could be. But then what I experienced when I got married the first time was radically different than that. Like I had a paradigm of what marriage was supposed to look like, and it just wasn't that. And I had a lot of things that I was bringing and contributing to what was making it not work, but I also didn't know how to fix that. And so that marriage dissolved after four wonderful kids, 14 years. It was pretty rough. I got married again thinking like, okay, I've kind of figured this out. And 3.5 years later, that marriage dissolved. And I'm like, okay, wait, I'm clearly contributing something here. I like to say that I either married crazy women or I attracted sane women and then made them crazy. Either way, I'm the problem. So I started looking into that and trying to figure out what was my contribution to my results. How could I kind of what the term that I like to use now is how could I be at cause? What did I do to create these results? And while I was always willing to explore and learn and had a hunger for knowledge and wisdom and that kind of stuff, I couldn't seem to get to the root of that issue. And it wasn't until somebody helped me through what's called a breakthrough session process, figure out what my limiting belief was, my greater problem that I built a whole life on. And in just a little sneak peek there, that I believed at my core that no matter what I did, I would always be a disappointment. And so when you're building a life on that as like your foundation, it doesn't matter all the things you know. It doesn't even matter all the things you try. Your unconscious mind is always going to bring you back to validate that belief system. And so, whether yours is I'm not lovable, I'm unworthy, or any number of other belief systems, until you can figure out what that thing is and resolve it at the unconscious level, it's going to continue to perpetuate those types of results in your life. So we love to help people who either haven't been able to find love or they're in a relationship and it's just not working and they can't figure out why. We help them figure out what's at the core of that, release it, replace it with a new empowered belief system. And then from there, you either attract a better partner, or if you're already in a relationship, your new like kind of remodeled relationship can be radically different when you're coming at it clean without those old belief systems that your unconscious is trying to validate.
Yeah. So where did you get that belief system from?
That's a great question. I think I grew up with a dad who I would still say is the second hardest working person that I know. He's in his late 60s now. Literally is he lives in northern Arizona and is building a custom home for my mom. It's a 3-story home. He's doing it all by himself. Like
Wow.
he buys the cabinets and buys the doors, but he's installing them. He's running the electric. He's laying the tile. He's putting the roof on. He's all the stuff. Like he works super hard. And the only person that I've ever met that worked harder than him was his friend, but also his football coach, who was then later my football coach, who poured concrete every weekend when he wasn't coaching football and lifting weights and was our strength training coach, just like an absolute beast of a man. And I grew up in these kind of like in the shadow of these two men that I admired so much. But somewhere in there, I didn't think that I could measure up to them. And so in my comparison to them, I felt like I was letting myself down and I believed a story. That's where most of our beliefs come from is we take information We create a story around it. We repeat that story to ourselves over and over and over until it just becomes a belief system. And then we don't even have to think about it. It just is an undercurrent that's running and creating results that typically validate what we believe. And because of cognitive biases, we only look for evidence to support what we already believe. We will ignore evidence that's contrary to that. And there you go. That's what leads to those kinds of results.
Yeah. And so how long did it take for you to kind of figure that out?
Oh, well, struggling with it for years. I would say, like, I experienced, and I know a lot of people don't like this language, but I experienced the belief system or the feeling of like a brokenness from roughly age 23 till 39. Like, I was just always trying to compensate for, consciously compensate for the belief system that I had. And so it was always trying. I was always reading more information. I was a sponge. I call myself a trier. If you had an idea that could help me in some way, I would consume it. Like, go to a seminar, watch a YouTube, listen to a conference, go to a church group, go to a counselor, go to, you name it. I would try anything. But at the end of the day, it was like all just head knowledge. And I liken it now to like a computer. Like, you can keep adding new software to the computer, but if it's got a virus, it's not going to operate right. Like, I was always downloading that new stuff, but the operating system was corrupt because it believed that it wouldn't really make a difference anyways. And so it wasn't until somebody helped me figure out, because I already knew it was at the unconscious, but how do you get to the unconscious to change it? And there are absolutely techniques that can help you release things in a day. And that's when I found that, experienced it, realized how easy it could be. That's what, okay, I need to help other people, because I struggled for years, probably at least 15, 16 years, thinking that I could never be good enough. And in one day, released that old belief system, replaced it with something empowered. And now my results are radically different.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's
Yeah. I could even, it's hard for me to even think way back then, when I was a kid, what problems could be the problems of today, right?
right, right.
So what kind of people are actually coming to you for help? Is it mostly people that have a relationship or looking to start one, or, they're trying to, figure out the old one? What are the most common ones?
Yeah, so it's interesting because I was on a podcast panel today earlier with four other power couples, and it was amazing to hear and just kind of discuss different things. But one of the things that I've learned over the last couple of years is that not everybody wants a great relationship, and that, I think, was like a kind of a wake up, a paradigm um, situation for me, because, like, why would you not want to have this amazing relationship? But often I talk to people, and I think what it is they don't really know how good it could be, and they don't know how big of a difference that can make in your effectiveness in life, how your business can excel, how you can just have an amazingly different, radically happier life when you have that ideal partner, and you are that ideal partner to attract that and create that. And so that's the first thing, is like, not everybody wants the same thing that I and my partner Mayan are about. Like, we call it your epic love, because, like, we don't just want you to date somebody and like get into a relationship. Like, if you're going to do it, like, make it amazing. It can be amazing. It's like this whole panel was talking about 10 out of 10. They thought they were 10 out of 10s until they had breakthroughs. And now one of them was like, I'm a 20 out of 10. I didn't know 20 was a possible 20 years ago. And now it is. And that's my point, is, first, you have to decide, like, what do you want? Do you just want to date? Do you just want to be in a relationship? Or do you have an intention or a vision to create something amazing? And so those are the people that typically work with us. They don't just want what they've always had. They want something that's going to light them up, that they're passionate about, that inspires them to grow and be the best, and that they can then in turn, be inspiring and light up and encourage and champion their partner. And that's what creates what I call the upward spiral. Like, you get better, then I get better. You get better, then I want to get better. I get better, then you want to get better. And now we're both constantly growing and pushing ourselves. All the while, we can be content with where we are, but know that there's growth that's out there. And when you walk in that, like, your business is going to take off. When you're not focused on, oh shit, I'm going home to another, pardon my French there.
You're fine.
I'm not going home to another fight. I don't have to worry about, like, oh, I can actually focus at work, and I can be excited about work. And I know when I call my partner, he or she is going to, like, celebrate my wins, or they're going to pick me up if I had a bad day. They're going to encourage me to get back out there. Like, when you have that wind in your sails, it's incredible. And so most of the people that we help are people that have not had that type of results, but know it's possible or want to believe it's possible. And so then we'll help them shift whatever is inside of them, because it all starts within. What are they believing? Some of them don't even believe that that type of partner is out there. Like, you've heard the classic women say, like, there's no good men, or all men want, or something, or all men cheat, or something like that. Like, if you have a belief system around that, then you're only going to see and look for men to validate that, or women to validate whatever that is. You're going to attract people to validate that. And then your whole world experience is jaded by your unconscious belief system, your perception. And that's literally what you're always looking for. And it's what you're always going to find.
So essentially, the good woman, the good man could be walking next to you, and you just think they're crazy or they're weird because
Yeah.
you
Okay.
associate this other person to be the greatest, and he's not or she's not.
100%. There's a fantastic study by a guy named Daniel Simmons. You can find this on YouTube. Um, I'm going to spoil it. So I'm sorry for spoiling it, but it's called the Gorilla Study. And he has two teams, one team wearing white t-shirts and one team wearing black t-shirts. It's just three people on each team. And they're literally just standing in a circle, bouncing and passing basketballs to each other. And you're supposed to count how many times the basketball is passed to the other members on one of the teams. And everybody is so focused as you're watching this, like, is it 15? Is it 16? Is it 17? And, at the end of the experiment, they ask how many times was it passed? And everybody's excited, confident in their answers. And then they're like, the answer is 15. But did you see the gorilla? I was like, wait, what? What gorilla? And then they rewind the video and they show about halfway through a man in a gorilla suit walks into the middle of all six of the people, beats its chest in like a stereotypical, fake gorilla way, and then turns and walks out. But more than 50% of people do not see the gorilla. They're so focused on the passing of the basketball that they literally, it's the technical terms are delete, distort, and generalize. Your brain can't possibly process all of the data that it's receiving. Like, even right now, like the pictures behind my camera and all the things around me, everything that's going on in your situation, like, I can't possibly get all of it. So I have to decide what's important to pay attention to. But your unconscious mind is cueing off of what you've told it in the past is important to look for. And so if you have this belief that all men cheat, you're going to be constantly on guard looking for men who cheat. And then you're going to find evidence to support that belief system. There's another video that I think is amazing. David Attenborough, the famous narrator, talks about how flowers give off a charge and bees can pick up the charge while they're flying by. And the bees will only stop at the flowers that are giving off this vibration, this frequency. Now you can put a node into that flower and a speaker to it, and it will make this sound like a woo, woo, woo. But because the flowers are grounded, they have a negative ionic charge, and the bees, because they're flying, pick up protons. And so now they have a negative ionic charge. And when they land, the sound goes away. The flower literally stops making sound. And then after that, no bees go to that flower until it starts making a sound again. And that, I believe, is evidence or a picture of the evidence of what many people are experiencing. They are in the places where their ideal partner could be, but they're giving off an energy to that partner is like, you're not ready for me. Like, you don't have anything to offer me. And I believe that's all tied to the personal belief systems that we carry around, the energy that we're giving off. And as soon as you shift that, we see it all the time. In fact, one of my favorite things is how our clients will come back to us days or weeks later and they'll be like, you're never going to believe it. I just met it. And I'm like, we absolutely believe it. We know that. You didn't go to a different place. You went with a different energy. You went with a new clarity. You're giving off a new vibration because something inside of you is realigned. And now you're attracting and attractive to a different type of partner.
Interesting. So would you say that most of these people are finding those individuals attractive, but that they were right there all along too, like the gorilla?
I personally believe that. Like, there's no way to prove that, right? I'm not following these people around with a
Sure,
camera.
sure. Yeah.
But yeah, like, they're going to some of the same places. We had one that was hilarious. This lady, she's a doctor, African American woman, just beautiful, super smart. But she came to us because she told us she kept attracting narcissists. Well, after working with us, we found the lie that she believed that would attract narcissists. Like, she didn't believe that her voice mattered. She didn't believe that she mattered. And she was constantly logically trying to disprove that. So that's why she went to medical school. That's why she was doing all these things, was to prove that she mattered, even though at her core she didn't believe it. So she's attracting men to validate that belief. And literally the day after she does a breakthrough session with May and finds that out, releases it, she goes to a grocery store and is checking out, same grocery store she always goes to. And a slightly, just a few years older than her gentleman comes up as she's checking out and goes, "May I carry your bags to the car for you?" And she's like, "Nothing like that has ever happened in my life. Nobody has ever done anything for me. I've always been the one that has to do and do and do and do and try and get people's attention. Something was different. Something is shifted inside of me. And now new people are seeing me and paying attention to me that just ignored me before." So I personally believe that. Yeah.
That is cool. So another question I have for you is, obviously, if it's a couple already coming to you, do you tend to see just the one partner is more interested in working on this than the other, or are they both coming equally?
That's a fabulous question. We won't work with a couple that isn't both equally on board. Evidence suggests that we don't consider ourselves therapists or couples therapists, but couples therapy doesn't work typically because one of the spouses is already done. They've already given up. They're not willing to participate. And so, and even just before that, I don't believe that change work can happen unless you personally decide that it's in your best interest and you want it. There's lots of times where people will come to us or call us and be like, my brother, my sister told me I should talk to you. I don't know. What can you do for me? And it's like, do you want to see a change? I don't know. I'm not. If you don't see that you want the change, then no change is going to happen. I don't work magic. I just lead and guide you to find what those belief systems are that you're ready to let go of. And when you're ready to let go of them, I can help you with that and then replace that with a new belief system. So if somebody doesn't really want it, if they're not 100% on board, they're not our type of clients, and we're not excited to work with you and have you have lackluster results. We are committed to helping people have epic love stories. If you don't want that, you're not the right person to work with us. We probably charge too much for you, honestly. Like we want you to want it so much that you know it's possible. And absolutely. And one of the things I love about our techniques is that May and I are in this together. So she will work with the wife and I will work with the husband to heal what's going on inside of them individually. And when both of them can let go of that stuff and now come together without all that baggage, now they can actually work on the problems. Because every problem that presents, like the Gottmans talk about, the problem is never the problem. You're going to fight over the remote or, cooking or who vacuums or whatever, but it's not really about that. It's about something underneath. And this is where so many fights happen. They're triggered by an incident, but then it brings up all of the other past issues. You can't solve this issue if you have all those other past issues there. So once you release those, now when an issue comes up, we can actually resolve it because it's just about this issue. And so from there, once both of them release that, now we can come together. We can teach them tools to effectively communicate and actually begin to help each other heal and grow. And through that process, bond in new ways.
Cool. And I just want to bring up this. I remember seeing a post, and you might remember it too, that you posted.
Okay.
It was something about going out and doing something different, like a different, I want to say like a group. Let's just say it was pickleball or something, something totally different to meet new people. Is that
Yep.
something you suggest to all your, most people that come on board and you help?
So, like for our single clients, we actually have a list. We call it the hotspots. It's 111 ways or places to meet your ideal type of partner. Now, the reason I can't tell somebody where their ideal type of partner is because your ideal partner is different than the next person's ideal partner. I don't know if you want to spend every weekend on a boat skiing, drinking beers, or if you want to go to the Met Gala, or if you love, just sitting in a bookstore and just reading together. Like, I don't know what you like, but we can help you figure out who you are because you won't even know until you know yourself well enough. And then what type of values you have and what type of values your ideal partner would have. And as you shift and become that person, you'll attract that type of partner. But it helps to figure out. I have a client I'm working with right now. She's been so focused on work all of her life to kind of disprove something that her dad put over her that she has basically rejected attention and affection from men because she didn't want to be in a relationship like her mom and dad had. And so now she's like rediscovering herself. She's figuring out, oh, I've been so focused on work for 30 years that just to avoid that type of relationship, oh, I get to figure out what do I actually like to do outside of work, and figuring out what are the new hobbies, the new activities that she could take up that would expand her life to where it's a full life. We actually believe stay off the dating apps. We don't tell you you have to, but you don't need to go on dating apps to find that ideal partner. You need to go live your best life and enjoy it. And when you are in your element and you are on fire for life, you're going to be magnetic to a different type of person. They're going to see you. But if you're just at home, lonely and bored, like who's gonna a come over and see you other than maybe your Uber Eats guy or your Amazon delivery guy? But even then, they're not going to want to spend time with you. You're just a shell of yourself. Like get out there and live. Get on fire for something. I don't care what it is. Find the thing that lights you up. If it's pickleball or if it's a painting class or it doesn't matter. Find something that like feels good. And when you feel good, you're going to be attractive to the opposite sex.
Huh. Yeah, I think that's exactly the post I was talking about. But yeah, so do, I'm just curious too. I have a lot of guests come on my podcast, and some of them do go through some kind of domestic violence. Is there something there that you can kind of support them and say, this isn't everybody, and how do you kind of navigate something so traumatic like that?
Yeah, that is a it's one that I have to handle with care, right?
Mhm.
There's a fragile element of that because as I said at the beginning, like I believe that we are all at cause. That being said, nobody likes to hear you're causing somebody to beat you or some sort of domestic violence. And so I'm not saying that you're causing it.
Right.
I am gently saying that something inside of you says it's okay for you to be treated that way. Because if it didn't, you would have been gone a long time ago. Like you would, when you saw those first signs, those first red flags, you'd be like, I deserve way better than this. I'm not taking this. I'm out. Something inside of you stuck around. And I'm not judging that because we all have that stuff, that that belief, that lie that we hold on to, something that we're trying to validate or invalidate to make ourselves worthy of something. We want to be loved in some way. And so we get some sort of attention and we hang on to it because we want to make it work or something like that. And once you release that belief system, you'll know that you deserve better than that. You won't continue to tolerate that thing. That is a hard pill for some people to hear and to swallow. And I don't say it I'm not saying it in a coarse manner. I'm not saying that you're at fault because that person who's treating you that way is absolutely committing a crime. What they're doing is horrendous and you don't deserve it. And you're the only person that can pull yourself out of it. Your friends don't want you to be going through that. Your family don't want you typically to be going through that. The state doesn't want you to be going through that. Everybody wants to help you get out, but it's your choice whether you choose to get out or choose to stay in. I just want you to get out for your sake. If you're listening and that's your situation, I want you to help release that old lie, that old belief that says that you have to stick it out for some reason, because it is not okay for somebody to be treating you like that.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it's unfortunate when I hear some stories like that. Um, and yet I haven't beat anybody up, you know what I mean? So it's kind of just like, what? But no, you shared a lot of information, and whoever's listening or watching this and like you want help with relationships, whatever, wherever you are in that, I would definitely reach out to Angus here and see how you and your wife can support them. So can you share your contact information, how they can reach out to you and what you can provide?
Yeah, easiest way is probably our website. It's your epiclove.com. And from there, you can just click the link, send us an email, and we'll be happy to reach out. Also, you can follow us on either Instagram or Facebook. I'm at the Angus Scott, only because there's another Angus Scott that's more famous than me. So
No, come on.
no, seriously, there are three very famous Angus Scotts, a couple of soccer players and across the pond in Australia and in the UK that are more famous than me. So I just had to get clever and try to create that. I don't think I'm more important than I am, but it was a little difficult to find me before. But yeah, at the Angus Scott on Instagram, Facebook, X, or LinkedIn, and I'd love to connect. This is what I geek out on. I believe that when you find and create basically when you become that ideal partner, you'll attract and create an ideal partnership. And from there, everything in life gets easier and better. That doesn't mean it's Disney, you're going to live happily ever after. You attract relationships to help you heal those things that you don't even know are there. And so when you find somebody that's that supportive partner that will help you through life, help you uncover those landmines and disarm them, now life just gets sweeter and sweeter and sweeter. And it is absolutely like when you can create that 10 out of 10 relationship, your whole life, everything gets better. I want to help
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. There's a line somewhere. I don't know word for word, but it's something about like, find the one that you would go in the that will go in the battle with you. And like, I believe that, right? So you and your wife are working side by side and, going through everything to help everybody out. Like that's what you need. That's somebody to support you, you know,
Yeah. The
through
problem is
right.
not between you two.
What's
The,
that?
the problem is never between you two.
Hmm.
And as long as you think it's between you two, that's when you'll point fingers at each other. It's when you realize that you two are on a team and you need to face the problem.
That's
The
exactly right.
problem might be within one of you or both of you, but side by side, shoulder to shoulder, you two can attack that thing and figure it out and solve it. And that's where the power lies, is in remembering you're on a team and the problem is for you guys to attack and to solve, not each other being the problem and you're going to attack and solve each other.
That's right. I totally agree with you. So I have one question I ask everybody at the end. What are three key things you've learned and used along your journey?
I would say that one of the biggest things I'll start with is change can happen in an instant. Change doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to take a long time. It can absolutely happen in an instant. It just takes a long time for you to decide that you're not going to not change. So that's the first thing. I would say the second thing is there is, to me, nothing sweeter than building something together with a true partner, like a team, and like having somebody to come home to and celebrate with, somebody to like support you in those rough times, but also to call and like, hey, we just signed this client, or hey, we just got this deal, or and somebody that is actively waiting to cheer for you, to be your champion. That is so powerful. And it's amazing what can be done when two people come together like that. The third thing is that I believe that most of the world thinks that love is the answer, that the world would be a better place if there was more love. And yet somehow they're waiting for the government or somebody else to create that type of love. And I'm telling you that it starts with you loving you and then you learning how to love others well. And if we can do that and we can model that, then the world will see it and also learn, and that will spread. That's the only way that I believe that love will spread. As long as we're looking for somebody else outside of us to do it, it's never going to take off. It has to start within and it has to grow out from there.
That's well said. I totally agree. Angus, it was great for you to come on here, share all this information about relationships and you're conquering your belief system, whatever that is. And again, if you're listening to this, just reach out to Angus and have a conversation with him. So thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. I love talking about this stuff. So if anybody wants to jump on a call, just reach out, DM me, whatever. We'll jump on a call, geek out together, and see what we can figure out, help make your epic love come to pass. So thanks, John.
Cool.
My pleasure.
You're welcome.